Welcome back to We Care a Lot. I'm half the podcast, Mel.
And I'm the other half, Sam.
Hey, so today we have a very special guest and one of my personal favorite humans, Nicole Davis.
Woo!
Stop. You might know her from her thriving vintage business, Found Goods, or from her candid conversations about motherhood on Instagram. For those of you who are new here to this podcast, hi, we're happy to have you.
Hi.
But yeah, let's just get into this conversation and get to know Nicole a little bit better.
Yes. Welcome, Nicole.
What'd it do? Hello.
Thank you for being on the podcast. We're so excited you're here. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to call my friends out a little bit right now, but they have stalked your Instagram because they are so intrigued about who you are. Like, unprovoked, they've randomly been like, oh yeah, Nicole, Logan's sister. And I'm like, what?
It's me.
Yeah, so here she is.
Well, it's fair.
The Gemini in me is loving this.
I love that. Perfect. So first thing we wanted to ask was, how did you start your entrepreneurship, like, role in life? Like, how did you get started in that?
Bro. I mean, like, we could go back.
Let's go back. I want to go back.
Give them the tea.
I mean, we could go back to selling sour belts on the school bus.
Tea. Okay.
And cigarettes.
Okay.
Interesting combo.
Dynamic.
Okay.
I like it.
That's where it started.
Kids were buying both. I love that. I mean.
Period.
I feel like I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. I feel like I can't work for anyone else. It's just like I don't have it in me. Mm-hmm. I would rather work like 4 jobs for myself before I do for someone else. Mm-hmm. It's just a thing.
Yeah, you have the spirit.
But entrepreneurship, particularly my vintage business, probably about 7 or 8 years ago-ish, when I was pregnant with my first child. I was with my partner at the time and I was working at a barbershop as a receptionist, and only like 3 months pregnant, and I was like crying at the front desk, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't like be on my feet, and like it was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was like, okay, just stay home. I was like, okay. Sure.
This is new.
And I had to think about it for a while because I was like, ain't no man. But then I was like, you know what? Fine. I'm doing a hard job. Mm-hmm. And immediately upon, like, a weekend, I was like, I cannot sit still. Yeah. Like, I'm just going to eat all day. So yeah. I mean, I've always gone to the thrift store. Like, I've spent my allowance on Goodwill and In-N-Out growing up, you know? And I always would go to school and people would be like, where'd you get that? And I'd be like, Goodwill. And they would be like, fuck. Because they couldn't get it anywhere else. Yeah. Which always was really cool for me. I always felt like it was like, either they told me I was dirty.
Yeah.
Or they were jealous.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, I feel like that's many thrifters' stories. It's a saturated market. But
you would think so, but I feel like as like popular as it's gotten, I feel like it's still like a very specific trade. I feel that like not a lot of people will put their time or efforts into like learning about. And like I think specifically vintage, I feel like, you know, anyone can sell thrifted pieces. That's different, but I feel like vintage is like more specifically a very like niche thing, I feel.
Yeah, all the things that they've like come back from your knowledge that circles back downstream to us as a friend group, they're like, yeah, the double stitching or whatever, and I'm like, oh. So then I go to the thrift store and I'm like, oh, this isn't like from the 80s or whatever. This is like American Apparel from last year or whatever. Yeah. So it does take a lot.
Which also slaps, but it's fine.
There's what?
She said, which also slaps.
Oh.
Right.
Definitely.
I used to, well, one of my first jobs was working at American Apparel.
Oh,
I ended up managing it, but I worked at it for like 2 years. The one near the one in Westwood on UCLA campus.
Wow.
It was brutal.
That sounds hectic.
Yeah.
Halloween was a time. But
I bet.
The unitards and the tutus.
Love it. But in terms of like, I guess like the vintage appeal of like when you were starting off, is that something that you already had like knowledge in, or was it something that like you learned along the way? And if like you did learn along the way, was there people who taught you, or how'd that go?
Yeah, totally. There was lots of people who taught me who were doing it at the time, but I mean, I'm still learning new stuff every day. It's crazy. Like there's so much to learn. There's so much to learn. But I mean, the internet is a never-ending black hole of information, which is beautiful. And you can Google anything. So
that's fair.
It just requires a little effort. But yeah, I taught myself in a sense. You know, if you want it, you just gotta go and get it. It's there for the taking. Yeah. The information. Yeah.
Do you feel like thrifting in Ohio, because that's currently where you are, is easier than thrifting in LA, or like a different market entirely?
I don't know. It's just different. When I'm thrifting here, I do it a lot for myself. Like when I walk into a thrift store, I'm like, no expectations anymore because everything is so overpicked. I'm like, if I find some cool stuff for my kids or like some hats, some accessories, but it is different than LA, but I feel like they also have more thrift stores in LA too. So.
I could see that.
But like there's so many other ways to obtain clothing than the thrift store, more than people realize. And so I really don't do a lot of thrifting for my business as much as I used to.
Right.
Interesting.
But also at the same time, a lot of the people, because it's become such a popular sport, which fucking great. Okay. Like big picture, that's beautiful because everyone's just wearing things that have already been made, which is like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Like 98% of my closet, sometimes even fucking socks and underwear are like, it's not used, but it's already
dead stock.
It's
dead stock.
It's dead stock.
Yes.
Yeah, but that being said, we're all buying off each other. We're trading like Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
You know
right.
Like I've got something you want, you've got something I want. You know, so it's a never-ending recycling circle of garments. I was just telling someone the other day, I have a pair of jeans that have been worn by like 6 different vintage reseller women, and it's like Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
That's so cute.
They're so cool.
That's really cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
You guys need a TikTok journey of that. Everyone wearing the pants.
Valid.
A mini series, little movie.
Okay, but I do want to know, is it a trade secret how you acquire your vintage clothing? Or is that just...
No. I mean, not really. I mean, like, people die, you know?
Right.
Correct.
People die.
Hint, wink, wink.
People never return to their homes.
Yeah.
It's very true.
But you know, when you think about it, no one's walking around here naked. Everyone owns clothes. There is people. It's so funny talking to some people. They're like, yeah, like the thrift stores are like dry for sure, but like again, there's so many other places to find clothes in the garbage. Like, I mean, people are throwing out clothes all the time.
Right.
Like it is. We are not going to have a shortage of vintage clothing anytime soon. I know people feel that way, but it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I think about, like, specifically Coachella. This is, like, very random, but looking for cowboy boots during Coachella, or, like, the riding boots and
struggling.
Stuff. It was a struggle in person to find boots at thrift stores, like, local to me, and then I went on eBay, and it was, like, thousands.
A plethora of shit.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. And they were cheaper
than they
were.
People... Yeah. And because people are, I mean, and fucking thank God, people are realizing that, like, there's value in I mean, anybody can resell. Like, that is the most beautiful part of doing what I do personally, when I think about everyone's wearing used clothes and anyone can make money. Anyone can make money. It is such a big market. Like, there is no better time than now to, like, you want to work for yourself, fucking do it.
Yeah. Well, as someone who, like, has been doing this for a long time, and as we just said that, like, the market's really saturated in a way, how is it that you try to, like, differentiate yourself and really be, like, different from the crowd? Like, what do you specialize in? What is it that, like, you like to aesthetically find?
Oh, I feel like it's changing all the time. Like, for a long time I was like, I don't sell anything that's, like, newer than 70s. I'm only 70s and older. And then, like, in the past few years, it's been fun to incorporate, like, 90s and 80s, even some Y2K into the mix. But I feel like, I don't know what sets me apart from anyone else. Like, you know, they say when you, like, buy a red car and you see a bunch of red cars.
Yeah.
It's like, that's how I feel in my world until I step out of it. Like, I'm not doing anything different than my peers, because that's all who, you know. But styling and, like, keeping things fresh and different every time. Never trying to not post the same thing, same pose, same picture again and again and again.
Yeah.
Which is hard, but, you know, but keeping it fresh.
I think outside looking in, I can definitely see, like, a lot of personality, like, your actual vision for clothes comes to life. I don't really follow any other vintage resellers, but I don't know that they do that. I feel like some just stick to the, like, t-shirt on the ground and that's it, and every single picture's the exact same. Or
it feels like a Depop shop where, like, it's
Depop.
Yeah,
exactly, and not on people or your kids, for example. So I think it comes to life in that way.
Yeah.
Like, your personality is in your business.
For sure.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do try. I try to not be a t-shirt on the ground person. But fuck, man, there's money to be made there, and people do. But, like, yeah, I definitely feel like also, with the internet, people like to be shown how to wear things. They don't want to, you know, you can't, like, if you put it on the ground, that's great, but, like, t-shirts are easy, you know, you can wear a t-shirt with anything. But, like, other stuff, if you put it down, that's great, but it's going to be easier for someone else to buy if they see it styled or on your body.
Yeah.
They want us you have to do all the work. The vision has to be, like, fully complete for someone to be like, oh, okay, I see it now, I'll buy it.
And I think that's why you are very successful in not just selling to, like, maybe other resellers, because I feel like that's also a thing, but, like, you can also market yourself towards, like, the masses, and that's really special, because you're also just, like, kind of selling a lifestyle too by showing them how to wear the clothes. So I think that's really special.
Yeah, that's a whole thing. I mean, I will say, especially the more special pieces, the people that see the most value in them are other resellers. So or collectors, and those are the people we do buy off each other a lot.
Yeah.
That's also fun.
Yeah, of course.
You're not closed off to anyone, and that also, like, is apparent.
Yeah.
But with you incorporating, like, your personality and, like, just your general life, have you struggled with, like, have I shared too much? Do I want to share less? Because I know you also shared a lot of, like, mom life on your personal page.
Yeah, man. That's huge for me. That's a really big one for me. I mean, my personal page is what brought in my customers to begin with. My personality is what brought in my customers to begin with. And the longer that I did vintage, the more I found my own personal style, the more I tried to make it more about style. But it was hard to get to that point. I still sometimes struggle with it. And I still sometimes struggle, ever since my divorce a couple years ago, I stopped sharing as much about my personal life. And I feel like it gave me the opportunity to focus more on, keeping business, which was nice, but a really weird part of me, and I feel like obviously we know social media is social media is psychiatrically
right.
twisted.
Yeah.
If that's the right word. But I was sharing so much of my life, my personal life, that I felt like when I didn't, I was lying.
Oh, interesting.
Which was kind of scary when I really realized that.
Yeah.
I think it just got to the point where I didn't know. Being a stay-at-home mom can be really fucking lonely. I found my community through social media.
Yeah.
I found other moms to connect with, etc. But divorce does something to you that makes you feel. I have never felt so self-conscious and so small as I have in the first year of my divorce. It completely tore me apart. Not only did I not, obviously my entire life is flashing before my eyes and my entire world is changing.
Yeah.
But I also just felt so
isolated.
Alone. What?
Isolated.
Isolated, and I felt like there was something that was setting me apart from my peers.
Got it.
And people everyone was watching me and everyone was judging me and obviously when you're in a divorce, you are in a divorce because you and the person you are with disagree about life.
Yeah.
You are on two different planets. So
yeah.
So you feel like the divorce maybe catapulted you into not sharing as much online? Like you were just like, I can't, maybe not feel relatable, or I just feel so other that I don't want to share that?
Yeah, and I think I was just so self-conscious. I didn't know what anyone thought about me. I didn't know. It was I was all of a sudden very hyperly aware of too aware. I was just so self-conscious of what other people were potentially thinking of me, not even that they were necessarily thinking of me.
Yeah.
But I also had not only a little voice in my ear telling me I was fucking my entire life up, but again, disagreeing with a person who I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with, so that made me feel really small.
Yeah. That's tough.
Yeah, I can't even. The idea that your personality and your existence is then translated into this online platform.
I was gonna say your lifestyle and your family is something that you consistently shared, to then having what feels like a break in that, then translating that into it was. I feel like that's just a really hard call in general to make. I'm really sorry you felt isolated or alone in that. That's awful. I know that when you did start sharing, did you feel a little bit of those pieces of community coming back to you, or do you still kind of feel like there's some foreignness there? And also what is your relationship to those people who followed you for the motherhood family, or the family aspect? How do you kind of feel about all of that now?
I started to share a little bit, but I realized that I've grown out of sharing the way that I have. I realized that I needed to internalize things in order to make decisions for myself, and I was relying a lot on other people's opinions to make decisions in my life.
Yeah.
Which is so strange because you don't realize you're doing it when you're doing it. Mm-hmm. I just felt like I'm a huge external processor, like huge, like that's my core. But my divorce put me in a situation where I needed to learn how to internally process, and thank God, because I feel like I lost so much of myself in social media, in motherhood, in my marriage, that was so far gone, and I hadn't realized how far gone it was until it all came to an end.
Yeah. It broke you out into this like transition of really identifying like who you are outside of things that you love, like family, your kids, obviously, vintage, but like
who's Nicole? That makes sense.
And I'm still figuring that out, baby. I'm still figuring that. I mean, we all are.
Yeah, no, it's an ongoing process, for sure.
Oh my God, we talk about that all the time. Yeah, a journey.
I am like so not the same person I was even last year. I've changed so much. It's I like, and I feel myself even changing every day. It's kind of crazy.
I think when you put less of like a stressor of like identifying with one thing, it makes things so much easier, and you get to learn these smaller pieces of you that like existed before but you didn't get to quite like experiment or explore with. And I feel like I've personally seen you develop in that way a lot as well, which is cool.
Thank you. Yeah,
I was gonna say it reminds me of Inside Out too. Just all the little. Have you seen it, Inside Out too, or no?
You're gonna like cry right now. Mood.
No, but literally, like all the little pieces. Like you are dual. You could be everything. You could be an angry person and a happy person and whatever. You know, go watch the movie, guys. If you haven't seen the movie, it's great.
Dude, the part where she's like, I don't know which character said it, but they were talking to Joy, and they were like, Joy, she's calling you. And I was like, oh,
sobbing.
Stop. You're going to make me cry now. I can't think about the movie now.
When it like sparkles towards her. That was so cute.
Oh my God.
I love that movie.
When Joy was tired.
Part where they like talk about adults.
I left that movie being like, this is not for children. This was for me.
This was built for me and me alone, the adults.
Yeah.
Pixar be doing that.
They do.
They
kill it.
I hear you have a feature on a magazine coming up soon. Do you want to tell us about that?
Just a little one.
Just a little one.
I first want to say, though, I mean, it's a Columbus magazine, which is so cool, and I've seen so many of my friends in it and so many creatives in my community, and it's such a, like, a beautiful place to read about the community.
Absolutely.
But there is a weird like, okay, wait, I'm not going to sidetrack here. I fucking just the million things are going through my head. Yes.
Short answer. Yes, I am.
Yes, and it's just talking about my business and living in Columbus and being in vintage and also, meanwhile, trying to raise babies, and it's great. Yeah. I'm excited about it.
When does it come out? Is it summer?
It's supposed to be next month.
Okay. Exciting.
Yeah. I think I thought it was the July issue, but it's the August issue.
Perfect. Yeah. When we're recording this will come out like 2 weeks from now, so it'll be soon.
Yeah.
Is it something that we can like read or like link to from like online, or is it like a physical thing?
It's a physical magazine.
Oh, awesome.
I could probably scan it.
Yeah. Or we could like link the Instagram.
Yeah, like if the
something.
Instagram or the article's there, we'll leave it below for you guys to read.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, I was going to mention, like, there is, like, I mean, you guys know I'm not fucking from here. And there is a weird sense of like pride I feel about living here that is unlike any other pride I've felt about living somewhere else.
Wow.
And it's everybody. It's like like Columbus is like a contagious level of pride for living here. Like people who live here and love it really love it. You know what I'm saying? Like they're like, Columbus is everything. It's like a little hidden gem to them and myself. Like I'm coming from like LA and Denver and Seattle to here. Like I was like, I remember coming here before I moved here, people were like, you're going to be the coolest girl on the fucking farm.
Farm.
Like, lo and behold, I fucking love it here. Never thought I would love it this much. I fucking love Columbus so much.
Yeah, when you first moved there, were you like hesitant? Were you like embracing it? Because I feel like for me, I'd also from LA, and I'd be like, why are you going to Ohio? Like, what?
Yeah, I mean, when I first moved here, right before I moved here, I was like digging deep on social media, looking for creatives in the area, looking for photographers, looking for artists, looking for resellers, looking for anybody I could get my hands on that like is interested in the same thing as I was doing. And literally, I remember through hashtags doing this.
That's so funny.
Like, oh my goodness.
But that's just because I'm weird.
No, that was of the time.
That is how you did it then.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, it is so easy to find your community here, and like everyone knows everyone. It's really nice.
Yeah. Very special.
Yeah.
LA is not
and
like that at all.
It feels like a very special place.
Yeah.
So raising kids in Ohio, is that like ideal? I mean, you clearly love it there. So for you, this is like lifelong raising kids here, staying here.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Anything for my kids. I think where they're going to school and all that jazz is the best for them. I mean, let's be real. I don't want my kids in school at all. Columbus, for sure. I don't think kids should be going to school at all. Period. School is not necessary. I think any parent could be teaching their children on their own. But I have a co-parent, so I don't get to make all those decisions by myself. Mm-hmm. We have to talk about it. So.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's also super time consuming.
The school?
So, no, like
talking about it?
Having to teach your own children.
Oh, I will say you have to be the right parent, probably.
For sure.
Like, not all parents can get away with no school. I gotta say, there's some kids that were at my school, and I was like, you need a little more than just school.
I mean, but like also historically speaking, like we haven't changed our school systems in decades.
Mm-hmm,
right. So
right.
I think that just like generally speaking, school sucks. They're like schools are fucking outdated, and we need to teach our kids differently. And I think that we are starting to in smaller communities. I think it's harder in the larger communities where people are, you're just fucking pushing to align with the number.
Yeah.
Because there's too many of you. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like school.
Fair enough.
Fucking fair enough, honestly.
And if my kids want to stay home from school, I'm like, okay.
Yeah. They're living an enriched life, I'm sure, with you as their mom. And like you're teaching them everything you possibly can outside of the establishment.
I was saying the curriculum.
The man.
Yeah, the man.
There is much to learn outside of the establishment.
100% agree. Yes.
So much.
Yeah.
Okay, so with your like entrepreneur spirit, I feel like maybe not a lot of your followers or even just like people know that you started Our Agency. How's that going? What is it? Give us the tea. Let us know what we should know about this new endeavor that you're on.
Well, it kind of came about a few different ways in conversation because my partner, Daniel, loves film photography, has been taking film photos for as long as he can remember. And for myself, I have loved interacting with small brands that I've been able to promote, or and also I just know so many people who own small businesses and so many friends who are so talented. And so what better way to like work together than to make some magic with some small businesses, like, you know, marketing wise. We have a shoot coming up with my friend Lindsay's brand Goldie, which will be really, really cool. And I'm just so excited to like get into it and photograph, just fucking create, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is
like,
it
for like, go ahead.
I was gonna say, is it like you're the model, he's a photographer, and like that's your guys's, or is it just a vision?
Butter, yeah.
No, I would like to. I mean, I would no.
No.
I'm definitely more going to be on the styling side and art direction side, and I mean, we're going to be working together on a lot of that stuff as well. So yeah, I mean, like working together to produce some magic. It's not just going to be me as the model at all. Yeah. Again, as the shoot's coming up, we have a couple of my friends who are going to model, which I'm really excited about. It's going to be great.
That's so exciting. Like you get to literally lean on your community, also helping your community by like creating a vision for them. Yeah. Just like this whole beautiful little flow.
Baby, there's no time like the present to work for yourself. I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah. We tried that a little bit, you know. We're not foreign to that, but
we've dabbled.
Right now, we're in a
different working for ourselves situation. Working for other people ourselves.
Yeah. Anyway, we're a little familiar.
You ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, I'm not saying I don't work for anyone else. There are times where I do.
Right.
But I am still working for myself, working for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
But, like, I don't know. I just feel like there's so many, like, I mean, I feel grateful that I got the opportunity to be a stay-at-home mom, to learn the skills that I did, to be able to work for myself. Mm-hmm. Shout out my ex-husband.
Shout out.
Grateful. But it's not for the faint of heart. That's for sure. You have to be okay not being okay and like go through the harder parts, which is fucking hard.
Correct.
Like some weeks I'd be broke.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be broke.
The flows
of that cash flow, for real.
But I'm like, damn, I get to do this for myself. So
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But I feel like semi-recently, in the past year or so, I'm like, God, there's so many things that I could be doing to make different streams of income that I'm not doing, all because I'm afraid of failing. Mm. And it wasn't until this past 6 to 9 months where I was like, being ready isn't a feeling.
Yeah.
It's a decision. Like, I can choose to be ready to do this. I just have to do it.
Yeah.
Like, and when that clicked for me, I was like, damn, I can do it. What? Like, you're so afraid to, like, be, like, take pictures of kids because you're not a photographer? You are a photographer.
You've been taking your own photos for so long.
And that.
Yeah.
But, like, and other things. All the things. I mean, like, you say you're not that person, but you want it so badly. You are that person.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of imposter syndrome with entrepreneurship. Like, because it's self-taught, you're like, but I don't have actual skills in that. But it's like, well, you've been doing it for X amount of years and it's working. So how do you not have skills in that?
Right. Because you don't have, like, the piece of the validation from
the money
or not even that, but just like a corporate standpoint of telling you, like, this is your job description and these are the skill sets you have and that's what we use you for. Like, I think when you're an entrepreneur, you have those skill sets and more, because you have to wear so many hats and you have to teach yourself how to be all these different departments in reality that happen for one company. And at the end of the day, you have those skill sets, whether or not you actually think you do, because you're having to do it on your own. And it's like having to say like, no, I am ready and I am doing this, versus shying away and being like, actually, I can't do it. Yeah.
But like also, meanwhile, you have a bajillion people as you're scrolling through your phone doing the things that you want to do, the people that you are so jealous of, the people that you want what they have, but you're still sitting there and scrolling.
Yeah.
I mean, I fucking done it, do it sometimes. You know what
still
I'm saying?
Still in it.
But, ebbs and flows. What would you say is the hardest part? Sorry. Continue. Say that.
No. I was just saying, it's such like, I mean, like, I think that I'm going to romanticize books for a second.
Okay.
Firstly, I think that imposter syndrome is a waste of time. You can obtain it, but it is not who you are. But should we go down this road? Okay, wait. What were you gonna say?
Go first.
Keep going.
not to say what you said is not important.
No, but keep going.
We'll come back.
Books are great.
Agreed.
I'm gonna cry. I never in a million years thought that I would be someone. So funny that this is the thing I'm crying about. We're going to talk about my divorce and my kids, but I'm going to sit here and cry about books.
You never know what's going to bring it out.
Also, knowledge is power, so.
True.
Sis. I never in a million years thought that I would be someone who loved books. Like, my entire life growing up in grade school, having, like, crippling ADHD. I just always shoved myself into that corner. Like, I'm not a book person. I can't sit down and read. I can't sit still. I can't read a book that's not interesting to me. I can't give it time and let it grow on me. Like, I just could make up a million reasons in my head. And I've had a couple partners before Daniel try to give me books or tell me I would like this book. And you know when someone says something and, like, you're like, huh, okay, and then someone else says it and you're like, oh, like, you said it different. Like, Daniel made me romanticize books in a way that I never thought that I could, and they have completely changed my life. Like, yeah.
Do you feel like you...
Sorry,
go on.
I was just going to say, like, in regards to all the imposter syndrome stuff, like, books have helped me through so much of that.
Yeah.
This past year. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of similarly what I was going to ask you. Is just like, do you feel like that's why you're feeling so emotional, is because there was like such a limit that you were putting yourself into with like
what you already knew.
Yeah, what you already knew, and then reading, just like the act of it's alone, like, was just something that you never felt like you can achieve. And now, like, there's like a plethora of information that you're learning. Also, what kind of books are you reading?
I know, so curious.
Give
us like your top two.
Top two right now.
Hold on. Let me get them from my bedside.
Period.
Okay, top two.
Oh my god, they're pretty. Of course they're aesthetic. Can't even be surprised.
Well, I took the cover off of this one because it's just like too much stuff.
I hate that. That's how I feel about my current book.
These are literally all out of a little corner of my life right now, I feel like. The 5 Principles of Parenting.
Okay.
The War of Art, which is my favorite right now. That's the one I've been, like, digging into. You Could Make This Place Beautiful, which is by Maggie Smith. She actually lives in Bexley, the town next to me, and she is a mom who got divorced and lives in Bexley. It's all about her life. It's really incredible.
That is really awesome.
and she herself is a writer entrepreneur, and so I just like really resonate and love everything she talks about. And The Power of Now.
The Power of Now.
Yeah,
that's one I've tried to pick up many times. I think I need to give it a shot, but
isn't A New Earth the prequel to that, or is it the sequel? I don't know.
I have no idea,
because I'm reading A New Earth. Is it Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now? Yeah, so I'm reading A New Earth, also by him, and
it's either the prequel or the...
I don't know, but it is like a very spiritual, you have to be open to reading that, I guess. And at the beginning I was like, oh man, this is getting deep.
Yeah, I feel like that's the, like, but that's my shit.
Yeah.
Like, I love getting, like, I get, like, I mean, more recently, in the past couple of years, as I've been rediscovering myself, I've, like, for a really long time, I was like, I can't fucking stand small talk. But, like, now it's so, like, I don't get me wrong, like, small talk sometimes is really annoying. Like, I'm a very, like, no bullshit, like, this is how it is, let's talk about the real shit now thing type person.
Yeah.
But I've, like, really found a lot of peace in small talk semi-recently, because I don't know, I think, like, this, like, different types of relationships that I didn't think that could exist for me, and some of them are small talk, and it's kind of blissful.
I think we've, like, undervalued small talk for sure, because I think it makes us uncomfortable sometimes when you, like, have to come up with what you can relate to someone on, so you just have to start with small talk, and you're like, oh, the weather here's been kind of crazy, and then you eventually end up in this place where you're like, wait, we have so much in common, like, whatever it is that you go down a rabbit hole with. But yeah,
you can just have peace, and also just, like,
in talking about
not necessarily nothing, but just more minute things that aren't, like,
a day
the depth of your core, you know, and that's nice too. Yeah, definitely.
They all add value.
Yeah, I think that, like, small talk particularly, I think a big part of it too for me was that for a long time I didn't know the small things that I enjoyed out of life. I, like, identified so heavily with, like, where I had been, what I had done, all this stuff, like, in the past, and staying in the present was, like, really difficult for me, still sometimes is. But, like, it's those little things that are happening now, like the show that I'm enjoying, the book that I'm enjoying, my favorite blanket, the band that's coming to town, you know, like, these little things that are currently now happening, whereas all I used to be able to talk about was everything back there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The big, heavy things that feel like that's who makes me who I am.
Versus, like, the small enjoyments of life and the things that you're reading or consuming. Yeah,
I think that I identify less and less with my past as time goes on. Like, it's not so much, The Power of Now talks a lot about that. But it's like this weight that you're holding that you identify so heavily with this thing, you're not willing to let it go. Like, you're so stubborn to, like, hold on to it. Like, if you would have asked me, like, who am I, like, 2 years ago, I would have told you that I am the daughter of a mother who killed herself and a fucking stay-at-home mom of 2. And today, if you ask me, like, that same question, I would tell you, like, I'm an entrepreneur and a really great mother, and, you know, like, I don't know. I feel like we hold so heavily onto things, and we keep ourselves so, we hold ourselves back by holding on to our past and making that so much of our identity, we won't be able to become someone else.
Yeah.
Or who we want to be.
It's also interesting because I feel like that same thing that we hold on to sometimes, we understand that it's, like, limiting us, but at the same time, like, we're so tied to it that I like literally lost my train of thought, but we like literally keep ourselves in this place knowing that that's probably the place that we hate being. So like,
but it makes us other.
Yeah. And
it makes
others.
us more interesting sometimes I think sometimes the perspective of like, well, no one gets me, so I'm going to keep sticking to that thing.
But then you feel alone and you're like, okay, why do I feel alone? Because you're other. It's a cycle that's just like,
and it'll keep coming.
Yeah. I think it's such a small piece, but like being in the present is much more than just like this very like surface level,
like smiling and whatever.
Like what's the word, concept. It like runs so deep, like you said. Like I think also not being so tied to your past and kind of enjoying and talking about the things that you currently are loving or like doing on the day to day are more like identity structures that like are more fitting and help you move through life.
And they're all tied together. I mean, the things you enjoy today might be tied to something that affected you in the past, but it doesn't define you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, entirely. And I think, I mean, God, for so long, I like, my entire identity was my downfalls, you know?
It's
they really, it's not a good place to be, but it's a necessary place to be at times in your life. But like, as I was saying before, the thing that I've always like just kept up here is like, being ready isn't a feeling, it's a decision. So at any time I can be ready to move on from this. I just have to do it.
Yeah. I'm excited that you're like at that point in your life. Like the opportunities have just opened up and tripled to what the future holds, basically.
Yeah, I will say like having I don't think I would have been able to do that. I feel like having a long distance relationship at this time in my life worked so much better for me than like having someone next door.
Yeah.
You know, because I was like, I had my partner and we've been, feels like we've been doing life together still, even though we're apart for 2 years. But that's so weird. He just texted. But like, what was I saying?
Him being apart like is better than being next to you right now, or long distance.
It gave me the space and time to like come into myself without having to like physically rely on someone, which is something that I think all of us struggle with.
Yeah, you know? Definitely. Do you feel like with this transition happening and then also you guys starting a business together, is there like some ebbs and flows of that situation, like going into business with a partner?
Yeah, baby. I mean, like this, like it's not perfect, you know. It can't be perfect. If it was perfect, I'd be fucking weirded out.
Like, what are you hiding?
Like, yeah, but like, you know, but for the most part, it's fucking great.
Yeah,
it's really great. We run into some issues, but it's all really like a lack of communication, or not a lack of communication, but it's all really just like a miscommunication most of the time.
Right.
But yeah, it's, I think that if like you can work with your partner, that's like successfully, that's like a whole other step of like partnership.
Yeah, totally.
It's like crazy.
Adding another person to the mix is definitely just adding another person's entire belief system to the mix. So would you say like being a sole entrepreneur in Found Goods and then moving to this, do you feel like even more fulfilled, I guess? Like now I get to kind of have another piece in something else creatively.
Yeah, I'm always looking for stuff like that. I'm also always working with people locally as well. I enjoy collaborating with people a lot. But like permanently, I think a lot of my collaborations are fleeting, you know, they're one-time things and then maybe they'll call me back for another thing or whatever. But, this being a more permanent thing definitely feels, a little scary, but like we're so compatible and we're so on the same page and agree on like most things aesthetically and mentally and physically that it's really hard to like, I don't know, go wrong.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. I'm excited to see what comes out of it.
I know.
All the creative photos.
Some cool stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Circling back to your online presence, we've talked a lot about online presence on this podcast. Do you feel like now, bringing it full circle, do you have like a more established way you like to present yourself in your platform? Like, do you have boundaries? I know there's a lot of mom influencers that are like, won't show my kids' faces or certain things, like them throwing tantrums, things like that.
Yeah, I would never do that.
Yeah.
Trashy. I don't know.
Your day by day. Yeah.
Day by day. I think for a while I definitely was like, I don't want to show my kids. I go back and forth about it a lot. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's a hard one for me. I don't know, because Ira has shown interest in modeling recently and wants me to like submit his photos to an agency and like do that thing.
Stop.
So like, I'm
so
like,
gorgeous. Yeah, I'm sorry you made beautiful children.
Ooh, my bad. Yeah, so that's a thing. But I never take pictures or post pictures of my kids without them knowing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, they're 5 and almost 8, and they know what the internet is. I mean, they don't have phones. They don't have any of that stuff. I don't know when that's going to happen. But if it was my choice, not for a long time.
Yeah.
But you know, things are as, you can't make something too taboo. I would much rather teach my kids about like, hey, this is what's going to happen on the internet and this is how it works, instead of being like, okay, you're old enough for a phone now.
Here's the,
you know what I'm saying?
Beast. Here's the beast of a phone. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
But yeah, I go back and forth about posting them a lot. It's a scary world out there.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
But they have a say, needless to say.
Yeah.
But my online presence, I mean, I really am focused on just posting the outfits that make me happy, mm-hmm. and the brands that I love, and maybe little bits of my day. I am way less worried. I'm not about like numbers and counting and all that nowadays than I used to be. If you want to be here, great. If you don't, fuck you. Bye. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's who cares?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the other thing too, is like I've learned to care more about what's going on in my real life than I do on internet life, which didn't used to be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's nice.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know this, do you get like hate comments or like people being rude?
Not as much as I used to,
okay.
because I used to be half naked on the internet a lot, which is controversial. Whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that anonymous questions box is like the devil.
Really?
Like, you don't want to, like, the couple times that I've put that up, since I've been divorced, people are nasty, and you don't know who it is. I'm like, this could be my ex-husband for all I know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean, like, the anonymous question thing is like, people have said like, you're out here doing all this stuff while your baby daddy is like paying for your life, like fucked up shit. Like,
the heck?
You know what I mean?
That's insane.
Like, stuff that like I tell myself, like, in my head, like,
God.
My bad voice tells me.
Yeah.
That shit.
You're like, how'd you get in there? Who are you?
You're like, did I type
Did
this?
I send this to myself? Who are you?
Is it me?
is insane.
Yeah.
I don't understand how people can have this, not even just on you, but just like in general, how people have the mindset to
bash someone they don't know.
Literally, you don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think people get obsessive, I guess, and
like, pull up the receipts. What do you mean?
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's been, like, I guess for me, like, when I am following someone and they start doing or saying something that, like, I don't like, I just unfollow them. I don't make it known. Like, it's the internet. It's not a personal fucking thing. This is not our journal. This is not, you know, this is social media.
Mm-hmm. Also, no one is holding you there to watch these things. Like, just move on.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
Mm-hmm. You don't like it, goodbye.
That is, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I mean, like, that has also put me in a situation. I've started to treat social media more like actual social media instead of like what I was treating it, which was my journal in a sense.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that serious.
Right.
Nicole. That's what I had to teach myself. This is not that serious.
Yeah.
Like, be in your life. Be in your real life. Interact with your real people. Your neighbor, your partner, your kid, like, out of there.
Yeah.
Like, I've met incredible people on the internet, though. Don't get me wrong. And I do meet people all day, every day. And it's how I run my business. It's how I meet mutual friends. But, like, it's not that serious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's,
it's
like,
not that serious.
A really tough line, I think, for our generation, or, like, the surrounding generations of coming up with social media but not having it as kids. And being like, oh, okay, wait, like, reality versus social media is so real these days.
Yeah, we're, like, reeling it back a little bit.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah, I really like those, like, light phones that they've been coming out with. I've been curious about those.
Yeah.
What is it, like a flip phone again?
No, there's some that, like, don't have, like, social media or anything.
Interesting.
You can buy, it's basically...
It's the way we could just delete it.
I know, the way we could just delete apps.
But no, we need to buy another device to not have it.
I mean, that's how addicting it's become.
Yeah, it has become
the scariest part.
Yeah. It's like the nicotine gum for smokers. Like, we're in steps, you know? We're in the steps.
Recovery.
Those phones, though, are like Kindle screens, so they're not LED screens.
It's better for the eyes.
It's better for everything.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
is there anything else?
I don't know. Is there anything else you want to personally bring up or talk about? I feel like
you're an open book.
We went down the rabbit hole of Nicole, from motherhood, influencer mommy, to sharing a lot, to divorce. We went through your businesses. Your love of books currently.
I love that.
I know, that's so...
That might be my favorite piece from today.
Yeah.
The love of books.
Anything else you can think of that you would like to talk about?
I'm trying to think. I don't think so. I can't think of anything except for, like, I mean, there's always stuff to talk about, but...
Always. We could always have you on again.
Yeah.
So
we could have a really specific, like, this was my blank story or whatever.
Yeah.
Story time with Nicole.
Story time with Nicole.
No, nothing else.
I don't think so. I mean, like, I could talk about co-parenting. I could talk about my kids themselves. Like, I could talk about.
I would love to have like a specific episode where we talk about motherhood and parenting, if that's what you also want to talk about, because I feel like that is also, like, not necessarily things we talk about, but I feel like with our growing age,
with our growing audiences, pregnancies and marriages and things happening in everyone's lives,
that have become a little bit more real. And I think listening to somebody who's done it and is, like, still within, like, our age group, in a sense, our generation, it will be impactful. So if we want to keep that for another time, that'd be sick. If you want to come back.
I think we definitely should.
That makes sense.
Okay, so we'll do that at a separate
So
point.
we'll have you back, is what we're saying.
Yeah. We do have a closing question, though. We want to know what was...
Wait, did you want me to talk about that now? I can. Are you saying...
We'll have a separate episode.
Yeah, we'll do like a whole
Okay, that's
deep
what
dive.
I thought.
Yeah.
That's what you were saying.
No.
No. No, so I have a closing question. Just, what is the cringiest thing you've done on the internet?
Oh, no! Guys, there's so many.
Pick your favorite.
Yeah,
you know what? If you want to give us 2, that's great.
Yeah, honestly, we'll take all the stories if you want to share.
I would say the cringiest thing I've ever done on my internet was talk about my open relationship. Not necessary. Never needed to happen. In fact,
I'm like,
the open
story
relationship
time?
never needed to happen.
So should we do a whole episode on that? Just kidding.
Bitch, I've lived many lives. We can
That's
have
what we're
many
saying.
episodes.
For sure.
It'll just be a Nicole series. The lives of Nicole.
The lives of Nicole.
And listen, alongside all of that, I also had my OnlyFans at the time, and like, I make fucking money. Don't get me wrong.
She said.
Okay, and
Nay,
more power
nay.
to the people that can fucking stick to that shit and do it and feel okay doing it, because that shit is tough.
That is hard.
That shit is so tough, and it wasn't for me. Mm-hmm. It was great while it lasted, but I'm glad that it ended ASAP.
ASAP.
Period.
Cringe.
Close that book up.
Okay, that was
Forever away.
second cringe was the OF chapter.
OF open relationship chapter.
Gone.
Never again.
Got it. Internet
Goodbye.
didn't need to know that information.
Stable her down.
Goodbye.
Got it.
Oh my god.
Well, that was a great way to close that
Yeah,
off.
great way to close things off for everyone.
Thank you for being here, Nicole. It was lovely
Thank you for
to
having
talk.
me.
Can't wait to have you back.
Yeah.
Because clearly we're going to make this a series.
We have to have some other conversations.
I got loads. Guys, I'm a Gemini. I love talking about myself. Let's go.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Because that's all we do on here.
We're the yappers. Welcome.
God.
Wait, what's your sign, Sam?
I'm a Leo.
Yes.
Her man is a Leo.
Auntie. When's his birthday?
You're also crazy, though.
Yes.
I mean, August 10th.
I was like,
That's my
October.
birthday.
That's her birthday.
That's my literal birthday.
August 10th?
Yes.
Shut up.
That's so funny.
That's crazy.
That is really crazy.
August 10th is like
That
our
is
friend
crazy.
Lenny too, or Logan's best friend
Yeah.
Lenny. August 10th.
She's August 10th?
Yes.
Okay.
There's something in
Male-
there for us.
Male Leos are so different than female Leos. But
They are. They are.
I said
different world.
yes. Good luck to you with that. Just kidding.
Oh, he sounds great. It's fine. August 10th, winner.
Yeah.
We'll let it slide because of the birthday.
Yeah, we'll let it slide this time.
All right. Well, for anyone new here, thank you for sticking around. And if you want to listen to any other episodes, we encourage you to do that as well because we love to talk as you.
We yap about lots of different topics. So,
Yeah.
Go,
Anyway.
baby.
Go, baby.
and also follow Nicole. Shout out to your ads. Give them your
Give them your
rundown.
Your rundown of your 3, I think. Yeah.
Our agency, like the time, our Mama Nicole Davis, Found Goods.
Perfect.
Get 'em.
Solid.
Go follow them all if you
And
don't
also,
already.
I mean, that's like Found Goods is like also a website
Yes.
to go purchase her vintage.
Oh, yeah. FoundGoodsVintage.com.
You could probably find it on her Instagram too,
Yeah.
though. So just fall into that rabbit hole of Nicole.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's gonna be it for today, guys. We'll see you guys in Glowing Hour.
Yeah.
All right. Bye. Thanks, Nicole.
Bye!